It's a warm fall afternoon in Union County, and the warmth that we feel is playoff fever in Clark. Today, the Johnson Crusaders host the Roselle Park Panthers. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Nolan Field in Clark. I'm Paul Spahala for today's playoff football game. It's just that simple. Today is a playoff game for the Johnson Crusaders. If they win, they are guaranteed a spot in the North Jersey Section 2 Group 2 playoffs, which will start next week. But they'll have a tough one today in the Roselle Park Panthers. Working with me on the sidelines today is Anthony Nesto. And Anthony, for these Johnson Crusaders, they really haven't had a tough one since opening night against the Immaculata. They have rolled through their schedule.
Yeah, that was over 2 months ago, and they were able to all through the season play with their second team in the second half. Today might be their first test since opening night. They
have only allowed 6 points all season. This is a great Johnson football team we're going to watch today, but a Roselle Park team that could give them a battle. Roselle Park comes in at 5-2. They are a talented team, and they will do a lot of their work behind the running of Jamie Galicchio.
Well, Galicchio, he's a senior. He's the captain of the team, and he averages 9 yards a carry, and he's first in Union County in scoring with 88 points.
And he's going to have to do some scoring today against a very stingy Johnson defense. Let's talk a little bit about the Johnson Crusaders. They are big.
They're a big front line. Red Ziniak and the rest of the crew, they are very big. Roselle Park is a big school also, but Johnson Regional, if they can maintain and take control of the line of scrimmage, they should have a good ball game today.
Talented passing attack, talented running attack for the Johnson Crusaders, and the man who really leads the charge, both running and passing, is quarterback Dan Ludek.
You're right, Paul. He does both. He's rushed for 499 yards. He's thrown for over 800 yards. He has 14 touchdowns, and check this, he has not thrown an interception this year.
That's how talented Dan Ludek and the Johnson offense is. But again, the key to, we think, to this game, Johnson's defense. These are 2 playoff veterans here on Veterans Day. We'll find out what the playoff picture is after this one is over, because it's this simple. If they win, they're in, and that pertains to the Johnson Crusaders. Kickoff comes your way in just a moment. We'll be right back.
When you're looking to buy a new Chrysler or Plymouth, experience the difference at Warnock Chrysler Plymouth. The difference in selection, the difference in service, the difference in price, and the difference our car buyers review can make. It gives you the inside track on all of our Chrysler Plymouth models and Warnock Automotive's entire line. Just call 1-800-WARNOCK for your free copy, and soon you'll be saying, at Warnock Chrysler Plymouth, there really is a difference.
The first round of the new season of Challenge, TV3's own academic game show, is underway. Play along with the TV3 area's brightest students as they battle to advance to the second round. Watch Solomon Schechter take on Bloomfield Monday, November 13th at 6 p.m. and Sunday, November 19th at 1 p.m. It's Challenge on TV3.
It is homecoming day here at Nolan Field in Clark on the campus of Arthur L. Johnson High School. And what a game we have for you today. Roselle Park coming in at 5-2. The Johnson Crusaders coming in at 7-0 today. And Johnson will be kicking off, so the Panthers will receive the football first in this contest. I'm sorry, it's the other way around. Johnson will receive. The Panthers will kick it off. Greg Layden is the deepest of 3 backs for the Crusaders. Bob Harms does all the kicking for the Panthers, and we are underway. Layden fields the ball at his 8. He's across the 30. And Layden is finally brought down at the 32-yard line. So that is where Johnson will start from on their first possession of this football game. Let's meet their starters for today's football game. Mike Santangelo is the left tackle, Bill Ives the left guard, Carmen Scuderi the center, Dan Guzovic is the right guard, Ray Radziniak the right tackle. Alefi, Menzel, Adanazio, Layden, and DeCorso are your backs and receivers. And calling signals today is Dan Ludek. In just a moment, we'll check some stats for Ludek. He's going to throw on first down. He goes to Layden. Layden has it, spins away from tackles, leaves the football on the ground. Now the question is who has it, and the officials quickly say it is Johnson football. So Johnson recovers the dropped ball by Layden, but it is a pickup of 8 yards on the play. It will be 2nd and 2 coming up for the Crusaders. Let's check out some stats for Dan Ludek, the senior quarterback for the Johnson Crusaders. Ludek comes into the game 46 of 70, 823 yards in the air, 14 TDs, and as Anthony told you in the open, no interceptions. Menzel has the ball. Menzel has big yardage up the middle. He's into the secondary, still on his feet. Menzel still going, dragged down from behind as he crosses the 25-yard line. Frank Menzel with the huge carry. We are into Roselle Park territory at the 21-yard line. Let's meet the defense for the Roselle Park Panthers. They will line up in a 5-3 today. Joe Ricca, John Neiman, Bill Scheinstuhl, John Hemingway, and Juan Hernandez up front. The linebacking core on the outside, Bob Harms and Bill Cunha. Steve Carlick is inside. And 3 deep for the Panthers, Jamie Galicchio, Scott Heath, and Kevin Vargas. It'll be 1st and 10. The ball marked at the 22-yard line, so it's at the 22 of Roselle Park. Ludek gives it to the first man through. That is Joe Alefi.
That previous play, Paul, Menzel looked like a runaway train, and he broke a couple tackles. He's 6'3", 245 pounds, Menzel is. And that's a big gain. Puts Johnson Regional in position to try to go up early.
And that's the one thing that Roselle Park did not want to see happen. And luckily for us, the announcers, Anthony, just as we walked up to the booth, the rains have started here in Clark. 2nd and 5 after the 5-yard pickup by Alefi. Again, Ludek looking to throw. His favorite target is Layden. Layden has it. It's a catch for 4, maybe 5 yards. It's going to be awfully close to a first down. Anthony, you were watching Dan Ludek in the warm-ups, and you like the way he throws the football.
Yeah, he throws that nice slant pass and that quick out. He throws real well. He has a lot of velocity on the ball, and he usually hits the receivers right in the hands.
Here's a look at it.
Takes a quick drop, throws it out to the left side. But Roselle Park, quick on defense, only a minimal gain.
Good tackle by Jamie Galicchio. A gain of 4, 3rd and 1 for the Crusaders. They look to go up on top early in this one. They give to Menzel. Menzel has first down yardage. Knocked off his feet by Bill Cunha, but again, it's first down for the Crusaders. And if weather is going to play a factor in this ball game, the field, as good as it can be, we've had lots of rain and the field is soft throughout.
Yeah, Paul, I walked it before the game. Right around midfield, it's a little soft, and but the field is in pretty good playing condition.
The rain now coming down in sheets here as the wind starts to pick up. Quite a change from just about a half hour ago. 1st and goal from the 9. To Menzel. Menzel dives forward, a gain of at least 2, maybe 3 on the play. Knocked off his feet by John Hemingway and Bill Scheinstuhl. Frank Menzel, 65 carries, 368 yards, but 12 touchdowns. Now keep in mind that for the most part, Johnson has substituted freely in the second half of football games, so that's why Menzel only 368 yards, but yet 12 TDs. They have been ahead so early, so often, that they've substituted very liberally. Gain of 2 on the play. We'll call it 2nd and goal from the 7. And we've got a flag on the play. Might have been movement on the offensive line. We'll wait for Harry Hatch to make the call. It's actually going to go the other way against the Roselle Park defense. Encroachment.
Probably someone lined up in his zone over the ball. But it is offsides of Roselle Park.
And I'll move it to about the 3.5-yard line. Second and goal. Johnson 7-0.
Paul Menzel coming in is third in Union County in scoring, and he hasn't played complete ball game. So like you mentioned earlier, imagine what kind of stats he'd have if he was playing every, down of every play.
Again, it is Menzel 34 and Alefi 29 in the backfield, split backfield. Ludek keeps the ball. Ludek dives over the top, and he's got the score. 3-yard touchdown run for Dan Ludek.
Ludek followed the blockers. He just took the ball. It was a quick dive, and he powered his way into the end zone for the touchdown.
Jason Hassler will come on to attempt the extra point out of the hold of Dennis Bowden. If anything, that's the one very soft area on the field, right where Bowden has his knee. Low snap. Bowden gets the placement there, and give a lot of credit to Dennis Bowden, the holder on the play. Should be playing shortstop for the Yankees. Fielded that ball on 2 short hops, planted it down, and Jason Hassler knocked it through. Here's a look at the Ludek touchdown.
He fakes it to Menzel, and it goes right behind the right of the big guy, and he piles over into the end zone for the touchdown. But Paul, what you just mentioned about number 7, Dennis Bowden, nobody realizes how big of a play that is and how quick. He has a full line rushing in on him. He takes that snap on 2 hops and gets the placement down, and Johnson Regional able to convert for the 7-0 lead.
7-0 lead for the Crusaders. And again, it will be Hassler to do all the kicking today for Johnson. Good news is that the rain has lightened up. But we are due for heavy rains tonight. We thought we might even get this whole game in before the rains came. And hopefully we'll be dry the rest of the way. Big special teams this year for Johnson. Now when you're 7-0, obviously everything's hitting. Matthews and Galicchio back to receive for the Panthers. They're standing at the 10. Hassler out of the hold from Layden. A short kick to the near sideline. Galicchio going after it. He'll field it on 1 hop. Try to head towards the middle of the field. He's got some running room there, and he'll get near the 30-yard line, and the Panthers will start from the 29.
Good tackle by Lenny Navarro on special teams.
Let's meet the starting lineup for Roselle Park today. The left tackle, one of the captains, John Hemingway. Tim Eager, the left guard. Todd Kraft in the middle. Bill Scheinstuhl on the right side. And John Neiman, the right side tackle. The backs and receivers, Galicchio, the left half. Harms, the fullback. Steve Matthews, the right side halfback. Joe Ricca is the tight end, and Kevin Vargas is the split end. Senior quarterback for the Panthers, number 15, Anthony Finelli. Give to Harms. And a new quarterback for Roselle Park. They have gone with Matt Harris as the starter. So junior Matt Harris is starting today. Let's meet the defense for Johnson. They will use a 5-man front today. Carmen Rossetti, Gunther Kreisen, Ray Radziniak, Tech Sun Kim, and Nick DeCorso. The linebackers are Guzovich, Navarro, Menzel, and 3 deep we have Joe Alefi, Joe Adanazio, and Greg Layden. Gain of 2, 2nd and 8. Harris gives it off to Galicchio, trying to run right. Just barely gets back to the line of scrimmage.
And poor Roselle Park, who doesn't like to throw the ball, likes to run, doesn't want to get into these situations early with a 3rd down and 8.
Now, just in case during the game you think we're located somewhere on the turnpike, and it does sound that way, one of the Johnson fans has brought a huge truck air horn to the game. And you will be hearing it throughout the game today. 3rd and 9 for the Panthers. They do not like to go to the air, but they may have to go to the air. Harris, the quarterback, is 5 of 22 this season. And Harris is looking to throw. The righty tosses it up to the sideline, incomplete.
Good coverage by Johnson Regional in the secondary. Even if that pass was completed, he would have been knocked out of bounds, and it would have brought up a 4th down anyway.
And on 4th down, Bob Harms, the fullback, will stay in to punt the ball away. punting at an average of 34.1 yards a kick. There is Bob Taylor on the near sidelines, the head coach of the Johnson Crusaders, hoping to guide Johnson into the playoffs for the second straight year. Layden and Atanasio back to receive. They stand at their own 35. Harms will kick it away. The wind kicks up in his favor. Good snap. Harms boots it away, drives Layden back a good 8 yards over his head, rolls near the goal line, and it does go into the goal line for a touchback. So Johnson will start from their own 20.
That was a bomb. Long punt, too bad. It just rolled over the goal line barely.
It's going to go in the books as a 69-yard punt for Harms. So Johnson will take over with 5:35 to go.
Boy, you can see early the wind's going to have something to do with this game. If you look at the flags blowing by the scoreboard, they're blowing.
Now this game has a huge importance on the Section 2 Group 2 playoffs. This is the way the PowerPoints line up as we enter play today. Summit on top with 49, Caldwell with 48, Dover with 45, and Johnson with 41. As you can see, Caldwell and Johnson are unbeaten. If they win, they are guaranteed a spot in the playoffs, regardless of where they finish in the top 4. Alefi on the carry, might have made 2 yards. Summit has Rawway, a tough opponent today. Caldwell has a much improved Essex Catholic team. Dover has Morris Hills. And all 3 of those games are on the road for those teams. Now, should any one of those teams falter, well, actually Caldwell and Summit appear to be in regardless, but should Dover or Johnson falter here today, West Essex or Mendham with wins might be able to sneak into the top 4. 2nd and 8 for the Crusaders. Ludek pitches it to a lefty. Ball pops off his hands. It's going to be recovered by Roselle Park. Has the football.
Big turnover.
Scott Heath comes up with the ball. Scott Heath comes up with the free football. We'll take another look at it.
Here's the pitch. A late kind of pitch, right off the shoulder. Good play by Roselle Park, and that's what they need to get back into this ball game. As soon as that ball was loose, you heard ball, ball, ball. Roselle Park, the Panthers jump on it. And they are in good field position to try to go for the tying score. Well, getting back to the PowerPoints that we mentioned, and you said this is a playoff game. Last year, Johnson Regional was able to beat Roselle Park out to get into the playoffs. Now this year, Roselle Park would like nothing less than to beat them and play the spoiler role.
Exactly. Roselle Park is out of the playoffs in Section 2 Group 2. They cannot make it. There is Scott Heath, came up with the fumble recovery. Harris to Harms. Harms with a big opening. Finally knocked off his feet by Frank Menzel.
Nice gain of 5 yards on the play, and that's what Roselle Park wants.
There's John Wagner. John in his 15th season as head coach of the Panthers, 98 victories.
Well, if Roselle Park can get 4 or 5 yards on first down, that puts them in a much easier situation.
Yeah, certainly, no doubt about that. That is a key factor in any ball game, first down yardage. And they got 4 there, 2nd and 6 for the Panthers. Harris looking to throw, airs it out for the end zone, incomplete. He was looking for Ricka.
Ricka ran out of real estate, but with the wind, the ball's kind of tailing way to the right. But that's a good pass. He put it in an area where it only could have been a reception or out of bounds. Watch it again on a replay.
Carmen Rossetti for Johnson, the right side end, was in. And there you see the pass beyond the pylon. So a key 3rd and 7. The ball at the 8-yard line. Harris has 2 men split left, Heath and Jeff Galicchio. On the counter, they give it to Jamie Galicchio. Galicchio still going, and then knocked off his feet. Might have lost a yard on the play. Now, will John Wagner send in Bob Harms?
I think they're going to go here, Paul. Watch it here. Johnson Regional defender stayed at home. Galicchio found no running room. He tried to cut it back. And the Crusaders were there for the tackle.
Timeout, Roselle Park. You saw big number 51, Dan Guzovich, coming off the field. Bob Taylor calls him the defensive heart of this team. There he is, 6'3", 220. Coming up Monday night on Time In, November 13th, my special guest, Ted Fiore. For those of you who go back a long way with TV3, you remember Ted as the basketball and baseball coach at Our Lady of the Valley in Orange. And most recently, Ted was the men's basketball coach at St. Peter's. So Ted Fiore joins me Monday night at 6:30 on Time In. We do invite your phone calls at 636-5333.
And Ted did some refereeing, I think, in a couple of games that you covered this year, at least one I know of.
He's been doing football officiating for many, many years. He said it's just something that he likes to do. It keeps him involved in the sport. Fourth and 6. Roselle Park going for it. They trail by 7 with 3 minutes, 7 seconds left in the first quarter. Again, it is Heath and Jeff Galicchio split left. Harms in motion. Harris looking to throw, looking for Harms. Deep in the end zone, slapped away.
Good defensive play by Jason Hasler in the secondary for Johnson Regional. Real good play, and again, Johnson Regional, the Crusaders, you have not been able to score on them that frequently this year. They've only allowed 6 points all year. Watch it again, good coverage. Ball kind of took off a little bit, would have been out of the end zone. But again, good coverage by the Crusaders.
So the Crusaders will start from their own 7. There is Jason Hasler. We might see Jason a little bit on offense also today in the backfield. Joe Aleppi, the starter, nursing a ankle sprain. Well, Aleppi's got it this time. He'll get back to the line of scrimmage. John Hemingway knocks him off his feet. Hemingway, 5'11" senior with 8.5 sacks, 3 of those against Boundbrook.
Besides the big mental run, Roselle Park's defense so far in the couple possessions that Johnson has had has been up to the task. They forced a turnover, and there's 2.5 minutes left in the first quarter, and Roselle Park definitely staying in the ball game.
Now let's see what happens on this play. I think the Crusaders are going to the air. They do that successfully. Ludek looking for Layden, just tipped away by Bob Harms. I don't think Harms saw that till the very last second, but he just got a fingertip on it.
Paul, they must have yelled in the air, and Harms was watching the receiver's eyes. He turned at the last second and was able to get that left hand in here. Real good defensive play. Watch it here. Harms turns at the last second and puts his left hand right there to break up the pass. Good play.
But you can see that Roselle Park is double teaming Layden, and you have to, but that would open up Joe Adanazio, who's had a couple of big games this year, and also Nick DeCorso, the tight end. There's Greg Layden, the senior, with 28 catches this year. And now with 2 today, he's got 30. And Ludek fakes to him, gives it to Aleppi. Aleppi breaks a tackle and has first down yardage. Kevin Vargas knocks him off his feet, but Joe Aleppi with first down yardage for the Crusaders.
Well, I think there's a flag on the play.
There is a penalty.
Good fake to Aleppi. Here he goes. And makes a nice run for the first down.
Shinestool just missed him, and then Vargas got him. And the penalty will be against Johnson. So that will take away the first down run of Aleppi.
Holding on Johnson Regional. Now it puts him in a 3rd and long.
Bob Taylor, his 3rd season as head coach of the Johnson Crusaders. Came over here when the school merged with Brearley. 20-6 in 3 years at Johnson, but in 22 years as a head coach, 143 victories, for the former coach at Brearley Regional. At Brearley, he won 4 sectional championships, 81, 85, 86, and 91.
And winning's contagious, Paul. Bob Taylor knows how to win, and that's why Johnson Regional is having a great couple of last 2-3 years, 20-6 under him.
They've had a number of outstanding all-staters through the years, including a couple who are in the NFL right now. Tony Siragusa, most notably with the Indianapolis Colts. 3rd and 12. Quick kick. Hassler gets it away. Takes a Johnson roll just across the 40. And Roselle Park will have good field position. They're going to start from the Crusader 42.
Johnson Regional tried the quick kick, but Roselle Park very happy that they gained possession. So Roselle Park had a good stand, aided by the Johnson Regional penalty, but Roselle Park here in the first quarter only down 7-0.
Johnson scored on their very first possession of the football game, aided by a big run by Menzel. Ludek scored on a 3-yard scamper. First and 10 for the Panthers. Again, they are at the Johnson 42. Matt Harris is the quarterback. He gives it to Galicchio. Galicchio breaks it into the linebacking group. Günther Krazon had a shot at him.
Nice little cutback for Galicchio, and he gains what looks to be 4 yards on the play. So
talked about first down yardage being a key factor.
Galicchio's got quick feet. He was able to cut it in and get the 4 yards on the carry.
Jamie came into the game with 987 rushing yards. $14 touchdowns, 2 conversions, and 1 receiving touchdown. Harms immediately wrapped up by Tech Sun Kim. Interesting story with Tech Sun Kim, number 67. Bob Taylor said he's been working a lot with assistant coach Steve Schofi on his defensive work and is beginning to understand the intricacies of American football. And they said he has been one of the biggest differences on this defense this year. His adjustment to the game and how much he has improved from his junior to his senior year. All right, 3rd and 6 for the Panthers. Fumble. Recovered by Galicchio, and Galicchio actually will gain a yard or 2 on the play, but it will be 4th and short yardage for the Panthers. And watch the heads-up play by number 33, Jamie Galicchio.
Galicchio saw the loose ball, and he fell on it there. Roselle Park keeps possession at the end of the first quarter.
1 quarter in the book with the score, Johnson 7, Roselle Park nothing. We'll switch us ends of the field. We'll get hit by the truck, and we'll be right back right after this.
When you're looking to buy a new Ford, experience the difference at Warnock Ford. The difference in selection, the difference in service, the difference in price, and the difference our car buyers review can make. It gives you the inside track on all of our Ford models and Warnock Automotive's entire line. Just call 1-800-WARNOCK for your free copy, and soon you'll be saying, at Warnock Ford, there really is a difference.
Welcome back, everyone, to Nolan Field. I'm Paul Spahala. With me, Anthony Nesto. You're watching Mountain Valley Conference football today.
And Paul, believe it or not, the end of the first quarter might help, so they don't have to kick with the wind, so they can try to put the wind. Last time, the punt from Roselle Park went into the end zone. Now, he might be able to dump it into the corner without that wind.
But I think because of that, that might have influenced Roselle Park's decision they're going to go for it here on 4th and 4. Harris to Harms. Harms dives forward. It's going to be awfully close. The mark will determine it. Harry Hatch and his crew set the football down, and I'm sure we're going to get the chains here. It's either going to be short or he's just going to make it by the nose of the football. Bob Harms. Harms had been a guard last year on the offense, moved to fullback this year.
Well, the ball was at the 36-yard line. I had thought earlier in the game now that they might punt, but they went for it. They have confidence in their defense and their offense because if they didn't get it, they'd have to play some defense here.
And they didn't get it. Short by the length of the football.
Again, it's 4-down territory, but a punt there could have tried to pin Johnson Regional back near the goal line.
Hey, we've played this game on the Johnson half of the football field so far, with the exception of the first drive.
Thus far, Roselle Park's defense, though, has played well, other than the big carry for Menzel.
Johnson 7-3 last year. Currently 7-0. Dan Ludek had a big game against Hillside with 119 passing yards. All right, I'll get out of the left lane. Ludek throwing for Layden. Broken up nicely by Jamie Galicchio.
And that was a real nice pass, but Galicchio was able to come over and apply the hit to break up the pass. But nice throw by Ludek. Here we go again. Nice pass. Good timing play by Galicchio to break up that pass play.
Again, they're double teaming Layden. Nice play by Galicchio. You see him there. 5'8" senior, but I can almost guarantee that they're gonna have to go to Adanazio, to Corso. Right now, Brian Renda is in the game, and one of those guys is gonna get single coverage. To give to Menzel. Menzel for about a yard on the play. Now, if my memory serves me correctly, Frank is wearing the same uniform number that his brother Mike wore very successfully for the Johnson Crusaders several years ago, number 34.
And a good defensive play by Hemingway there for Roselle Park. Holds Menzel to only 1 yard on the play, and it brings up that 3rd and 9, and that's what Roselle Park wants to do, keep Johnson Regional in 3rd and long.
Layden and Hassler split left. Layden might, and he does have single coverage now. Ludek gives it to Menzel. Knocked off his feet by Heath. And we may get a measurement here.
It's going to be real close. Menzel runs hard.
Runs hard and low, Anthony. Watch this number 34. Oh, he got a great block there from Radziniak. Ray Radziniak, 6'4", 260 pounds, number 79, one of the captains. He's a senior, but Bob Taylor likes to point out he is only 16 years old.
16 years old, 6'4", 260 pounds.
First down.
I saw him at the post office the other day, Paul, applying for a zip code. He's that big.
Teams that are scouting big number 79 know that he is going to be a huge one in college. Several Division I's are looking for him.
And at 16 years old, he still has to be growing.
And that's one of the key factors in the Division I's looking at him. You know, sit him out for a year, make him a red shirt, and by the time he gets to his senior year, he's going to be a house. First down. Menzel. Got a chance to talk with Dan Ludek before the game, and I asked him about that very play that you saw right there, and if we could get a replay on it. I asked him what he is looking for when he decides to give it to Menzel or keep the ball. And he said his first read is the defensive end. Now watch for the defensive end on this play. If the end gets blocked away, he will give it to Menzel. So on that play, Juan Hernandez was knocked off the line, and that's why Ludek decided to let Menzel have it. Now, if Hernandez had been able to come in, Ludek would have kept it for either the pitch or his own run. Gain of 3, 2nd and 7. Renda in motion. Looking for Layden. He's open. He'll have 7 yards, and it should be a first down.
Well, that's the pass they were working in practice right before the game all morning. And Layden coming in, he's 7th in Union County in scoring. As you mentioned earlier, he has 10 touchdowns for 60 points. And he gets the first down there.
It's being called 3rd and short. I'm surprised they haven't brought the chains in. Less than a yard. Alefi has the first down and more. Into the secondary, still going. Alefi cuts field and is finally brought down by Galicchio and Heath. And Joe Alefi is running with a bad ankle. Doesn't look like it.
Those 3rd and shorts are what sometimes they get broken for touchdowns because everybody's up front. You see Alefi breaking through right there, and Layden tries to put the block on Galicchio, and he gets the big gain. Finally taken down by DeCorso.
Look at the numbers here that Johnson's put up this year. Offensively, they have scored 316 points. They've allowed 6. And that includes today's 7. Ludek loops it, completes it to Alefi, and Alefi's going to go in for the score. A 30-yard touchdown pass from Ludek to Alefi.
And that's what you call a touch pass. What a pretty pass. Right over the outstretched hands of Bob Harms for the touchdown. Beautiful pass, beautiful reception.
For Dan Ludek, his 15th touchdown pass of the year. Hassler from the hold of Bowden. Guzovic is the snapper, and this kick off to the left. So Johnson maintains a 13-0 lead. Interesting factor, they have never been behind all season long. And of course, part of that is easy, 6 shutouts. And the only points they have allowed this year was in the 4th game of the season at Hillside. Hillside scored with 12 seconds to go. So they have never been behind.
And that was a perfect pass for the defense that Roselle Park had out there. Right over the middle, right past the outstretched arms of Bob Harms. Beautiful touch pass for the touchdown.
And just to show you the way football coaches always have something else they want to worry about, and it's a legitimate concern. A win today guarantees Johnson a spot in the playoffs. They've never been behind. I'm sure they've got to be thinking, how will our fellows react if we're down, let's say, 2 touchdowns at the half? Hasn't happened yet this year. And, of course, starting next week, you should be seeing better competition. And so I'm sure that somewhere in Bob Taylor's mind, he's thinking about that.
And Roselle Park is good. Them and Immaculata are probably the 2 toughest teams they'll play during the regular season this year.
Hassler will kick it away. Matthews and Galicchio set to receive. Beautiful kick by Hassler. It's through the end zone. Almost as good as the young man we saw from Sea Caucus.
Yeah.
So Roselle Park will start from their own 20. They trail by 13.
Roselle Park needs to get Galicchio going and get the offense going, get a couple first downs, keep Johnson, the Crusaders, on the field, try to tire that defense out for a little bit, and get back in the ball game. It's only 13-0.
But this is their worst starting field position of the game. And they haven't moved the ball. Galicchio wrapped up immediately by Tek-Sun Kim. Kim fought off his blocker and records the tackle.
Good play by Kim, and like you said, the coaching staff says he gets better and better every week. And at the nose guard, he's played well. He's been on 2 big tackles thus far today.
Loss of 2, 2nd and 12.
6 foot, 230 pounds, so he's got some good size to him at the nose position.
Under 8 minutes to go in the half. 13-0, Johnson leads. Trying to make it to the playoffs. Matthews in motion. Pitch to Galicchio. Still on his feet. Galicchio's got first down yardage, and Atanasio finally knocks him down. Galicchio picked up another 7 yards going backwards.
All Jamie Galicchio. Once he turned the corner, from our vantage point, it looked like he was going to be pushed out of bounds, and he's kept his feet churning, able to make a big gain for Roselle Park, and that's exactly what they need.
Well, this is a great play because they pitch it out to him to at least get him some running room.
And it looked like the Johnson Regional defense was going to string him along to the sideline, but watch Galicchio here keep on turning those. Look at him. Look at the balance, staying up and staying in bounds on the sidelines, turning up for the big gain. Finally,
look at that.
Look at that.
5 yards, 7 yards backwards.
Great run.
Harms immediately wrapped up. Carmine Rossetti. Roselle Park this year, 166 points scored and 108 allowed.
Chryson was also in on the tackle, the junior 6'4", 240-pounder.
By the way, a quick note here, with that most recent run by Galicchio, he has crossed the 1,000-yard mark for the season. So congratulations to Jamie Galicchio for topping the 1,000-yard mark.
And what a run to do so.
Matthews running left. Just gets to the midfield stripe. Steve Matthews averaging almost 6 yards a carry.
He's a junior, 155-pounder, but getting back to Galicchio, breaking the 1,000-yard mark. Coming in, he was averaging 9 yards a carry. That's some awesome numbers.
Third and 7. And that penalty will cost Roselle Park yardage.
They were more than likely in a passing situation. Now, Paul, it looks like they will definitely be in a passing situation. Third and long, 3rd and 12.
The way the lineman fired off the line, it looked like a run play. Either way, it's 3rd and 12. The ball marked back to the Roselle Park 45. Todd Kraft, the senior center, brings the team forward. Scott Heath split out to the right side. 3rd and 12. Harris rolling right. Goes short across the middle. He's got Harms. Harms trying to push the pile forward, and he's going to be awfully close to a first down.
Good blocking by the offensive line of Roselle Park as Harris rolled out, and finally threw the pass to Harms.
I think he wanted to go deep to Heath, but Heath was very well covered, so he went to the short man.
And Harms was covered too. Look at this pass between 2 defenders, and this was all Bob Harms and trying to stretch forward for the, backwards for the first down.
Atanasio, Guzovic, and Menzel combined for the tackle. Stretching out the chains, they're short. Big decision for John Wagner, 4th and inches.
Well, I don't think we're going to go out on a limb to think that they're going to go here. 4th and inches, 43-yard line.
Yeah, down by 13. They want the football.
You might see Harris keep it himself and just lunge forward and hope to get the offensive line, get a surge for him to get the first down.
Now, I'll disagree with you just to disagree, because I think if you got some big bulls behind you in Harms and Galicchio, you let them take care of the yardage. A lot of times it's up to the quarterback. If he sees an opening, if the nose guard is immediately over center, then he'll go with the designated play. If he sees an opening, usually just taps the center, and they dive forward for yardage.
Right now, the middle looks open. There he goes.
And he's got the first down.
But, Paul, you're absolutely right. The middle was open there. Johnson Regional was telling Roselle Park, come up the middle with the ball. There wasn't anybody over the center.
And that's exactly what Harris saw, the junior quarterback. Nearing the 5-minute mark of the first half. I'm Paul Spahala, with me Anthony Nesto. You're watching high school football from the Mountain Valley Conference. Johnson, the Mountain Conference representative in today's game. Roselle Park, the Valley Conference representative. 1st and 10. Jeff Galicchio in motion. Pitch to Jamie. Jamie cuts inside the block of Hemingway, and he is knocked down by Redziniak.
And Teague's son Kim was able to get all the way down the line, Paul, and help in that tackle.
Roselle Park 5-2 this year. Their losses to New Providence 4 games ago, and last week to Ridge. And the 4-minute warning given to the benches. 4 minutes left in the first half.
Unlike pro football with the 2-minute warning, they'll give the 4-minute warning to the benches, and then they'll start the clock up again.
And also, we don't go to a Budweiser commercial. So that's the other major difference. Second and 10. Roselle Park trails by 13. They might go with the double handoff. They do the inside handoff to Galicchio. There's a flag on the play. Layden brings down Galicchio. It's good yardage, but where the penalty flag was thrown, that almost always indicates holding. And that's what it's going to be.
Nice run for Galicchio, but again, it was in the area holding, and that's what it'll be. They'll come back. You know, you'd hate to see if the hold was just a hold that had nothing to do with the play. And sometimes the referees won't even throw that flag if it's a hold that's after the, you know, that has nothing to do with the big gain.
He'll mark the Panthers back 10, making it a 2nd and 20. As we said, it is homecoming today at Johnson Regional High School. There are members from the teams of 1962 through 1968 in attendance today.
I didn't need your directions coming off the parkway. They were just blue and white balloons all the way to the field.
Big, big day in Clark. The cheerleaders, the town, everybody really up for this one. Pitch back to Galicchio. Now, although you're not going to really give Hassler credit for a tackle by influencing the play inside, he forced the tackle.
Jason Hauser made a great play, like you said. He forced it in. Watch him coming up from his secondary position.
Now, he's got outside responsibility here. His main job is to make sure no one gets to his left.
Puts that arm right in the leg and helps trip him up.
And he actually did get a hold of him. I thought he might have just slipped on the field, but Jason Hassler, his main job on that play, no one gets to his outside shoulder. And that's exactly what he did. Nice play by the junior. Harris looking to throw. Airs it out for Harms. Harms catches it and then is immediately hit. Great reception by Bob Harms. Len Nazaro with the tackle, but Bob Harms held on to the football.
Nice pass to Harms, but again, like you said, Navarro right there after the reception. And it brings up a 4th and 5 for Roselle Park.
Good hit and a good catch. But on 4th and 15, the Panthers will kick it away. Under 2 minutes to go. Bob Harms, who just made that reception, is the punter. Harms has hit a couple of field goals this year, if it comes down to that. Again, averaging 34 yards a kick. He boomed a beauty the first time, over 60 yards. This kick a little end over end. He's looking for the corner. And it's going to be out of bounds at the 24. So Johnson will start from their own 24. While we have a moment, let's check the list of the leading scorers in Union County. Jamie Galicchio tops that list. Galicchio with 14 touchdowns and 2 conversions has 88 points this year. Corey Ferguson of Union trails him with 80. Frank Menzel with 78. Quentin Spotwood of Elizabeth with 72. Then you have Harms from Roselle Park, Jeff Walsh from New Providence, and Greg Layden of Johnson. So we are seeing 4 of the top 7 scorers in the county here today. Menzel, a gain of 9.
Nice power run for Menzel. 9 yards on the play for Johnson Regional.
Steve Karlick with the tackle.
Paul, with Johnson up 13-0 here, I think they'll be happy to kind of run out the clock unless they get a big gain and get themselves in a situation to put more points on the board.
First down. That is the air horn that you hear in the background. There's a Peterbilt truck somewhere around that is now not out on the road right now. First and 10. Menzel for 2. Frank had a big day against Hillside, pair of touchdowns. He also had 3 first-quarter touchdowns against Middlesex. Second and 9. Actually, again, only 1 for Menzel. Ludek looking to throw for Renda, just off his hands. And it'll be 3rd down for the Crusaders.
With the incomplete, the clock stops. So now on a 3rd and 9 with 51 seconds left. Watch here. Pass thrown out to the left flat. Just in and out of the hands.
Yeah, but see, that's what I was talking about before. Renda, as you can see, nobody around him because they have to be concerned with Layden. Third and 9.
Now does Roselle Park call timeout here, Paul? They have 2 left.
Well, they may want to force the punt. But at this point, no signal either way. So it looks like the clock is going.
Johnson might take a delay game here. Or call a timeout right before the delay game. Johnson Regional might with 1 second left before the ref.
It's true, save themselves the 5 yards. A little coaching strategy going on between John Wagner and Bob Taylor. No, the flag does go up. Delay of game against Johnson.
Against the Crusaders.
Now you might see 11 people on the line for Roselle Park. They might not have anybody deep. Just going for the block here with 11 seconds left. Or 10 people, and they have to keep somebody back just in case there's a fake of some sort.
Hassler again is the punter. Well, he's not even in the ball game. I'm sorry, he is in the game, but not in a punting position. So on 4th and 9,
Quick
with
kick.
11 seconds to go, and now Ludek drops back into shotgun. Now he goes back under center. They want to see what Roselle Park is doing. They've got 1 man deep, that's Galicchio, and Hassler will quick kick it away with no one back. And it will roll out of bounds near the 10. And again, official time being kept on the field. The scoreboard clock shows 1 second. Official time on the field.
A lot went on in that last 11 seconds. Dropping back, pitch backs to punt, nobody deep, 10 men on the line.
And officially time has run out in the first half of play. With the score, Johnson 13, Roselle Park nothing. We will head for the halftime locker room. It is homecoming at Johnson Regional, and the Crusaders lead 13-0.
You're looking to buy a new GMC truck. Experience the difference at Warnock GMC Truck. The difference in selection, the difference in service, the difference in price, and the difference our car buyer's review can make. It gives you the inside track on all of our GMC truck models. and Warnock Automotive's entire line. Just call 1-800-WARNOCK for your free copy, and soon you'll be saying, at Warnock GMC Truck, there really is a difference.
Hi, I'm Bill Grant, your host for Fit for Life, inviting you to join me on Fit for Life, where I talk to the experts on health, fitness, and nutrition. Also, I'll give you pointers on how to improve your life. So tune in to Fit for Life, Mondays at 9 p.m. only on TV3, Comcast Cablevision of New Jersey.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Nolan Field in Clark. Our halftime score, Johnson 13, Roselle Park nothing. For your halftime enjoyment, we present the Roselle Park High School Marching Band.
When you're looking to buy a new Lexus, experience the difference at Warnock Lexus. The difference in selection, the difference in service, the difference in price, and the difference our car buyer's review can make. It gives you the inside track on all of our Lexus models and Warnock Automotive's entire line. Just call 1-800-WARNOCK for your free copy, and soon you'll be saying, at Warnock Lexus, there really is a difference.
Hi, I'm Dr. Mark Lisipsky, your host for Abilities, inviting you to join me as we examine alternative medicines. First, we'll take a look at acupuncture. Long used by Chinese practitioners, acupuncture is being accepted as a treatment more and more in America. On the next Abilities, we'll be looking at a technique of chiropractic medicine called neural organization technique. So be sure to tune in to Abilities on Tuesdays at 8:30 p.m. and Saturdays at 1, only on Comcast Cablevision of New Jersey's TV3.
Welcome back, everyone. 13-0 our halftime score. Again, with a win today, Johnson makes it into the playoffs. They have been in the playoffs 4 different years. In 1977, the first round in Group 3 at the time, they lost to Parsippany 14-0. In 1987, when the field was expanded to 6 teams, they defeated Hackettstown 21-7 in the first round. Then they lost to Caldwell 22-19 in a great triple overtime game at Montclair State. Back in 1991, they lost in the opening round in Group 1 to Brearley, 35-7, a game that I'm sure they don't let Bob Taylor forget about. He was the coach of the Bears then. And last year, they lost to Jefferson, and again, an expanded field, 28-27. Our thanks to Tom Long for helping us out with all the information on the Johnson playoff history. Johnson will kick it away. Hassler will do the kicking. They'll let him tee it up one more time if the ball stays up. Good for him. If not, Layden probably will hold it. And again, the rains are coming down here in Union County. Hassler kicks it away. Galicchio has trouble with the ball, bounces off his chest. He'll pick it up on the run at the 10, and he'll get out near the 15-yard line.
Well, steady rain picked up right at the end of the half, and the field, as it goes on and on, the game is going to start getting a little bit worse shape.
We have just gotten so much rain in the fall. Oddly enough, mostly on Saturdays, but it has rained so heavily that the field hasn't had a chance to even dry out during the week, and that's the situation we're in right now. The field was soft and wet to begin with. There you see the rain falling. The faithful from Roselle Park trying to stay dry with very little success. Good run by Harms on first down.
We can invite some of the fans up here. It's dry in this booth.
Second down. 5.
Nolan Field. There we are. That's us. And that's as much as I'm leaning out. Gain of 5 on the play for Harms. It'll be 2nd and 5. And this time Harms immediately tripped up by Tek-Sun Kim.
Good play by Tek-Sun Kim. He's been in on 3 or 4 good defensive plays this afternoon. And again, week to week, he's getting better and better. 6 foot, 230-pound senior.
3rd and 5 coming up for Roselle Park. Bob Taylor. One of the hardest working men in football.
That staff earns their money.
Plenty of late nights watching films. 3rd and 5. Matthews in motion. Gives a little tap to Harris. Good protection for Harris. Airs it out. Intercepted. Intercepted by Guzovich. And Guzovich is going to go for the score. Dan Guzovich with the interception TD. And it's a 19-0 Johnson lead.
What a great play by the senior. Guzovich put his hand up and tapped it to himself, was able to come up with the ball and go down the sideline for the touchdown. Real good athletic play.
And it looks like Johnson will go for 2 to get back to 21. Remember, they had missed an extra point earlier. Dan Guzevich with the interception return for the touchdown. Ludek to Layden, incomplete. Threw it just behind him. Layden lost his footing on the wet field. There's Dan Guzevich, whose interception return makes it 19-0 in favor of the Crusaders, and they are one step closer to the playoffs. We'll take a look at it. We'll try and get a yardage for you.
Harris dropped back. He threw it. Watch this play by Guzevich. Taps it up with the left hand, makes the nice catch. And there is no stopping this train.
23-yard interception return for Dan Guzevich.
There's Dan on the sideline, getting posed down.
Get the mud off of Dan. And I'll tell you, one of the very proud people in the stands is Dan's mom. She and many others are members of the Breakfast Moms. Get the fellows ready with a nice big breakfast every Saturday morning. Nice enough to invite our crew along for some pancakes this morning.
I missed the pancakes.
You missed? You came late.
There wasn't a note on the door to say where to go.
And once the TV3 crew sees food, it's gone immediately. One of our guys even bit into a plate before. Kicked by Hassler. And it will go over Galicchio's head. Roselle Park will start from their own 20. Building a lot of school spirit here at Johnson with the Breakfast Moms doing their work. You can hear the empty milk cans with rocks in them, used as noisemakers.
Anything's got to be better than that horn down there.
Well, the horn is part of it also. Building a lot of spirit here at Johnson Regional as they look to get back to the playoffs for the second straight year and the 5th time in the school's history. Galicchio running right. He is upended.
Real nice play by Greg Layden, coming on there with the tackle. Very nice play from the secondary.
John Wagner looking on from the sidelines. John and his staff do a great program over at Roselle Park. Just to the right, you saw Dennis McCaffrey, former All-State player. There's Dennis.
And Coach Guglielmo's up here in the press box, also for Roselle Park.
Great tradition at Roselle Park, and they are giving Johnson their best battle of the year, or certainly since opening day. Harms, no yardage there. It'll be 3rd and 8. Big rivalry between these two teams. Unfortunately, because of the scheduling next year in the Mountain Valley Conference, we told you earlier that Johnson is a mountain team, Roselle Park a Valley Division team. They are not on the crossover schedule next year. Johnson's going to pick up North Plainfield and Ridge. And unfortunately, they will not have either Roselle Park or New Providence. So 2 big rivalry games for Johnson that will not be on the football schedule next year.
These teams are only a couple miles away from each other.
So much so that Roselle Park warmed up at their field and then took the short bus trip over here today for the game. 3rd and 7. Harris forced from the pocket, and he's going down. Gunther Prizon. Prizon, a 6'4" junior, with the sack.
And give that sack to the defense, the secondary. Good coverage in the secondary for Johnson. And then Big Gunther was able to come in and make the sack.
4th down and 13.
4th and 13, a loss of 6 on the play.
Layden and Atanasio deep.
Layden and Atanasio back to receive. They stand right at the midfield stripe. Bob Harms is the punter. And barring a mishandled kick, Johnson is going to have outstanding field position. 4th and 13. Harms kicks it away. A beautiful floating kick into the wind. Layden fields it at the 50, right near the sideline. We've got a penalty flag on the return. Layden returns at about 15 yards, but in all likelihood, that one's going to come back. Boy, Harms just got off another great floating kick.
Had a lot of air time. Stayed up in the air a long time. Clip.
Not surprisingly, a clip on the return. It's the usual call you'll see on any type of return.
Paul, a lot of time left, 7 minutes and 30 seconds, but Johnson up 19-0 on the, on the wet field. I think they'll try to get some type of drive here. Try to eat up a little of the clock.
We talked about earlier how they haven't been behind this year, and they were, they're concerned about that should it occur as we go on in the playoffs. But the other thing that has not happened is their starters have not been required to play a full game since opening night. Once they've gotten the early lead, Bob Taylor has liberally substituted, which is good because he's gotten his younger players a ton of playing time. But probably not a bad thing today that they're going to get the starters out there for the very least 3 quarters. We'll see what happens at the end of this drive. Alefi bounces to the outside. Might have 4 yards on the play.
And Paul, we mentioned a couple times that they've only allowed 6 points all year long, and the 6 points they allowed was against Hillside with 12 seconds left in the game. So Johnson, strong defensive squad, good offensive team, very well balanced, and that's why they're 7-0.
2nd and 7. Ludek looking for Layden. Oh, what an effort by Greg Layden, who just couldn't haul it in.
Just missed. Nice pass. Cutting over to the sidelines, just missed. Layden stretched that whole body out to try to make the catch. Here it is. Downfield, good throw, just missed the diving Layden.
And a perfect pass, perfect in the sense that it was either going to be completed or incomplete. No chance for the interception. And Layden made a great effort. 9 receiving touchdowns this year for Layden. He also scored on a defensive touchdown. He returned an interception for a score against Hillside. 3rd and 7. Again, the fake pass. They give it to the inside back. That was Alefi for short yardage. It'll be 4th and about 2.
Injured player on the field.
That is Carmen Scuderi. Scuderi, an interesting story there. Carmen, a 5'4" senior, 3rd Scuderi brother to play for Bob Taylor, 3rd Scuderi brother to be an offensive center.
It's in the bloodline. And 5'4", 180 pounds. A lot of strength in the small frame. We'll hope he'll get up under his own power. Sitting up, he's in the upright sitting position.
Safe to say that none of the Scuderi brothers have ever seen a game standing up in their years with Bob Taylor. We had another big game on TV3 this weekend. It involved a possible contender in North Jersey Section 2 Group 4, that being the Union Farmers. Union and Linden, if you want to get a chance to see it again, you can watch it Thursday night at 8 p.m. on TV3. And now the bad news is Scuderi being helped off the field by his teammates. It could be his left ankle that is hurt. You can see he's not even putting anything on that left foot. So hopefully for Carmen, he will be back in next week. I would have to guess that he might be done for the day with already 19-0, nearing the 6-minute mark of the 3rd quarter.
And Paul Johnson's going to go here 4th down unless they try that quick kick again.
Now they set up on 4th and 2. They give it back to Hassler, and Hassler will punt it away. No one back to receive for Roselle Park, and it will roll inside the 20 down to the 17-yard line.
I tell you, that type of formation guarantees a non-return by doing that quick kick. Johnson Regional able to pin Roselle Park back pretty deeply.
Yeah, and you really can't afford to send one person back because the odds are that then guarantees single coverage on Layden. And that's the thing you do not want to have. Teams are going to have to be concerned about Greg Layden. I was talking with Bob Taylor about Greg. He's 5'9", 150. And unfortunately, in the world of college football, that does not translate usually into a Division I player. But Bob said he's got all the tools. He's a great receiver. And he says there are going to be teams 2 years from now who are going to be disappointed that they're not taking a chance on him just because of his current frame. But I guarantee there are many teams around, one of them in New Brunswick, that could use a receiver with sure hands.
And on that play, real nice play again by Tech's son Kim, the nose guard, got all the way down the line and was able to make the tackle for a big loss.
Loss of 4 on the play, 2nd and 14 for the Panthers. Roselle Park will wrap up the season on Thanksgiving Day with their traditional rival. They will be at Roselle. Galicchio cuts inside, still going. And finally, Kim wraps him up. Radziniak just missed him. Galicchio hard to bring down. He's a tough runner. Had a big 3-touchdown game earlier this year against Bound Brook. Had a long 66-yard touchdown run last week in the loss to Ridge.
Third and long, Paul. Definitely a passing situation for Roselle Park.
5 minutes to go. Third and 11. Rain coming down here in Clark. Penalty flag. They took too long. Delay of game.
Good point. You mentioned the rain coming down. We're okay up here in the booth. The players, some of them like playing in the mud. The fans have the umbrellas. The cheerleaders don't have any umbrellas, and they are just sitting in the water. They deserve a lot of credit today.
There are the Johnson cheerleaders. If you drove through town today, well, Anthony said it before, red, blue, and white balloons all over the place. And still a lot of spirit there, even though they are in need of some Crusader towels. Short gain for Galicchio. And Harms will punt it away. Len Navarro with the tackle. Remember, coming into today's playoff action, Johnson with a win guaranteed themselves a spot in the playoffs. Official pairings come out from the state on Monday, but the way it looks from the numbers that we ran through during the week, it looks as if Summit will be number 1, Caldwell 2, Dover 3, and then Johnson 4, which means that next Saturday, Johnson would be at Tatlock Field in Summit. Low snap, but Harms gets it. Gets away a good kick. And Johnson will let it roll to the Roselle Park 48. As Johnson comes on the field, let's check out the standings in the Mountain Division of the Mountain Valley Conference, where Johnson has already clinched a tie for the championship of the division. Johnson 5-0 in the division. Immaculata 4-1. Hillside is 3-2. Johnson's opponent, Central, on Thanksgiving Day is 2-3. So all Johnson has to do is beat Central or have Immaculata lose on Thanksgiving Day, and Johnson will win outright the Mountain Division. Pass intended for Adanazio, just incomplete.
You know,
almost came back for that one.
You know, Paul, we talked about the score being 19-0 with 3 minutes and 36 seconds left. Would they try to eat the clock up? But you know what? Johnson's part of their game is the passing game, and they need to get this offense to play 4 quarters because, like we said, the playoffs are just around the corner. They have a nice mix on the offense, running the ball, throwing the ball, good defense, good Johnson Regional program, and Roselle Park coming in at 5-2. Always a big, tough opponent.
Adanazio off the field now. Had a pair of touchdowns against Middlesex earlier this year. Ludak knocked backwards. Good defensive play. Joe Ricca, the senior.
By Ricca,
Good play by Ricker, wrap it up.
loss.
Ludick before he could get going.
I think he actually grabbed Ludek and the running back.
13.
The old Bubba Smith commercial. Just grab everybody in the backfield and throw them out till you find the one with the ball. That's what he did there, Joe Ricca.
Good defensive play. It brings up 3rd and long for Johnson.
They have held Johnson to 12 points offensively. Of course, 19-0 with the interception return by Guzovic. But 12 points, which is certainly the lowest of the year at this point. 3rd and 12. Ludek looking to throw, gets his footing, goes across the middle, completes it to Layden. Delicchio brings him down. I'll tell you, 2 and 3, Ludek and Layden, they know where each other is at all the time.
Real good pass, nice reception. Watch it here.
Now, similarly to the way we were talking about Layden, Ludek, who comes into the game at 5'10", 150. Many Division I schools, of course, will shy away from him as not only a quarterback, but as a player. But a couple of 1AAs are interested in him, particularly as an option-type quarterback. And the thing about the Ludek brothers, as Bob Taylor points out, they grow and get bigger as they get older. Now, he's a senior, but his brothers were both smaller. And there's the fake to Menzel. And Menzel has first down yardage.
And you heard the horn in the background. I'm not sure if that's on Menzel. His back, he's like a truck. But nice little fake there, and they get the first. Well, they're going to call for a measurement.
Just to finish the thought, Ludek had some brothers that played at Brearley. They were both on the smaller side as high school juniors and seniors, but got bigger. Matter of fact, even Ludek grew some during the summer. And Bob Taylor keeps mentioning to the college recruits that the college recruiters that, hey, he's going to end up bigger.
Well, he's got quick feet, and he's got a good throwing arm.
First down. Menzel had enough.
Roselle Park defenders don't think it's a first down. They're going to take a look. It's that close.
They're going to do it first down.
They're going to pull the chain as far as
they're going to reset the chain.
Yeah.
They're going to reset the chain. And it is a first down. Johnson fans love it. More than likely, this will be the last home game of the year for the Crusaders. They are at Central on Thanksgiving Day. If the playoff shapes up the way we surmise that it will, Johnson would be the 4 seed, and regardless of win or lose on opening day, would be on the road for the championship. Now, obviously, they'd have to win the semi to get to the championship. 1st and 10. Sometimes I can figure this stuff out just like that. I'll tell you, these Rutgers grads. 1st and 10.
And on your feet.
Ludek looking to throw. Gets away the pass. Completed to Atanasio. He'll walk it into the end zone. Second touchdown pass of the day for Dan Ludek.
And that was on 1st and 10. It surprised everybody on the football field. Atanasio found himself wide open, holding the pass for the touchdown.
For Atanasio, his 5th TD reception of the year. For Ludek, his 16th touchdown toss.
Wonder what kind of NFL quarterback rating he'd have. No interceptions, 16 touchdown passes.
Will attempt the conversion.
Hassler will attempt the conversion.
It's up.
And the kick is good.
And the score stands. Crusaders 26. Panthers 10.
Here's a look at it again. Ludek drops back to pass. Good blocking up front by Johnson Regional. Nice reception by Atanasio, and he scoots into the end zone untouched.
Officially a 39-yard pass from Ludek to Atanasio.
Roselle Park was in man-to-man there, and good blocking up front by Johnson Regional. And it was a surprising call on 1st and 10, but that's what you have to do, is try to surprise the defense.
Well, interesting enough, Bob Taylor was telling me that during the summer, they sat down and they analyzed their own game films. They wanted to see what they were doing too often, something that the teams playing them might be able to take advantage of. And among other things, they said, we noticed that we were rarely throwing to the tight end. So he said we've added a few plays to do that, again, just to keep the other teams honest. And that's something that you've got to do as a coaching staff, analyze yourself as if you were the opponent. And to the tune of right now 8-0, if they need to hold on for the next 13 minutes, 40 seconds, it has worked well for the Crusaders. Galicchio picks it up at the 5, across the 10, the 15, good room up the middle, breaks 2 tacklers, and Galicchio is out beyond the 20-yard line. Jamie Galicchio, tough to bring down, a good runner. One of the captains for the Panthers, along with Scheinstuhl, Hemingway, and Harms. Jamie shaking off the cobwebs there. Roselle Park, in 1992 and 1993, won 22 straight games en route to 2 consecutive Section 2 Group 1 championships. This is Jeff Galicchio. Jeff will fight his way forward for about 6 yards. Jeff, a 5'7" junior, missed about 4 games this year with an injured knuckle on his finger.
Before you mentioned that they had won 22 games in a row, Roselle Park every year with always a strong program, and that's hats off to the coaching staff and all the time that the kids put in and the parents, and it goes down on, and that's why they have a good team every year.
Solid program always at Roselle Park. 2nd and 4. Harms for about a yard.
Late flag thrown in on the play by the side judge. Could be a motion call.
Holding the call. Harry Hatch makes the call. So Johnson will take the yardage. Remember, on Thanksgiving Day, they line up with Roselle. Roselle Park does, in one of the longest rivalries in Union County.
Always something special about playing on Turkey Day. Get up in the morning, go down to the field, you play, and then you always have that turkey to look forward to after. And I'm sure the linemen, thank God some of these teams don't have Turkey Day together, because I don't know if the little backs will be able to eat as much as the linemen.
Always some big players on both sides of the football for Roselle Park and Johnson. They're the Johnson cheerleaders.
Don't invite the TV3 crew, by the way, to a Thanksgiving Day party. Look at them. Is it okay to say it looks like it's starting to be a bad hair day?
Well, at 26-0, they're happy. Pitch back to Galicchio. Play that worked very well in the early stages of the game. Works for about 8 yards here. Unofficially 7 seconds left in the quarter.
And Galicchio hurdled the defender to make that big gain. Roselle Park not giving up, still playing hard. Let's watch it again. Watch at the end of the run. Good blocking by Roselle Park. Boom, hurdles in the air. Got an extra couple yards out of the play. Good job running.
Knocked down by Guzovich. 7 seconds to go. Harms knocked off his feet at the line of scrimmage. Johnson has called for a timeout. No, I'm sorry, it's the end of the quarter. I thought I'd seen the signal for the timeout. If so, it came after the quarter ended. So we will take our final break here at the end of 3 quarters with the score: Johnson 26, Roselle Park nothing. We'll be back with our final 12 minutes right after this.
buy a new Geo, experience the difference at Warnock Chevrolet Geo. The difference in selection, the difference in service, the difference in price, and the difference our car buyer's review can make. It gives you the inside track on all of our Geo models and Warnock Automotive's entire line. Just call 1-800-WARNOCK for your free copy. And soon you'll be saying, at Warnock Chevrolet Geo, there really is a difference.
Once again, the second place number of $100, 925.
4th and 3.
2.
Bob Harms will step back to punt it away for the Panthers. Adanazio and Layden back to receive. Harms boots it away, end over end kick. Layden fields it at the 32. He's across the 40, trying to pick his way outside, and gets back near the midfield stripe. And that is where Johnson will start from on their first possession of the final quarter. 26-0 the score. Earlier we showed you the current standings in the Mountain Division of the Mountain Valley Conference. These are the current standings in the Valley Division, where New Providence has already clinched a tie for the division championship at 5-0. Regis 4-1, Roselle Park 4-2. They are done in the Valley Division. Rest of the conference, North Plainfield, Bound Brook, Manville, and Middlesex. There were no conference games in the Valley Division or, for that fact, in the Mountain Division this week. This was all crossover week for the entire Mountain Valley Conference. New quarterback in the football game, that is Dennis Bowden. Bowden we saw earlier as a holder for all placements. And I was concerned about that, and I'll tell you why in just a moment. We've got a penalty flag on the play. On the touchdown pass that Ludek threw earlier, just a moment ago, the penalty is going to be against Johnson. He came off the field holding his left hand, and I don't know whether he had it hit on someone's helmet or whatever. And he's near the bench, and yeah, they're icing up his left arm right now.
Paul, there was a fumble on that play on the handoff, and Roselle Park gains possession. Getting back to the injury, though.
Yeah, you see that Ludek has his shirt off now. And they're going to ice him up. So he is done for the day, and again, he's done with a 26-point lead. So Roselle Park takes over, 1st and 10. Galicchio in motion, and a flag on Roselle Park. The end on the far side of the field, the split end, just was leaning and just couldn't get back in position. So that'll negate a big 10-yard pickup.
Motion against Roselle Park. Pushes him back 5.
See the near sideline getting muddy where the players stand.
That's when they have to change the shoes. They have to go to the mud clogs.
And the designated players box. Well, Johnson told me they've been playing in some pretty rough field conditions all year, particularly a couple of weeks ago against Middlesex, and last week up at Berkeley Heights when they took on Governor Livingston. First and 15 following the penalty. Harms spins his way into the line for 4 yards. Kryzon wraps him up and brings him down.
Gain of about 3.
Now Johnson Regional, believe it or not, they still have something to play for here. They want to keep the shutout going. They've only allowed 6 points all year, and they're up 26-0. Not too many substitutes on the defensive side of the ball yet.
And again, they're also playing, as we said, for next week. Trying to get those players a chance to get some field action. Galicchio on the counter play. Gets about 2 yards. It'll be 3rd and 9 for Roselle Park.
Third down. About 9.
Brings up a passing situation for Roselle Park, 3rd and 9. Rain subsided a little here.
So with the apparent loss today, it looks like John Wagner will have to wait until the 1996 season for victory number 100. Had he won today and on Thanksgiving Day, he would have finished the year at exactly 100. Pitch to Jamie Galicchio.
Good defensive play by Johnson Regional. Only allowing a short gain. It brings up 4th down. Roselle will go. Roselle Park will go here. Watch the pitch. Good defensive play by the Crusaders.
Carmine Rossetti, among others, knocks him off his feet. Guzevich had a control at him while Rossetti came in. 4th and 5. Roselle Park trails by 26. We're with 8 minutes and 38 seconds left in the 4th quarter. Trips right. Galicchio and Tech-Sun Kim are just having a tremendous ball game today with the ankle pick.
Tech-Sun Kim's been there all day long. He's a tough guy to move out of that nose guard. 6 foot, 230 pounder. Watch it here. Plays off the block. Grabs it by the ankle with the tackle. Great play by the nose guard. Coaching staff talks about it being one of the biggest differences on defense, and that's true. He's been in on at least 5 or 6 big plays defensively for Johnson. Here you get a look at him.
There's a look at Ludek icing up the left shoulder. Now the good news is, of course, he's right-handed. So apparently on that touchdown play, and again, I saw him come off, shaking off the left arm, either took a shot to the shoulder or might have fallen on it, may have gotten knocked down. We'll try and talk to him after the game and find out some information. By the way, what a fall it has been at Johnson Regional. The soccer team, head coach Al Zaya, who, by the way, congratulations to him for winning his 300th career victory during the season. Yesterday, they won the North Jersey Section 2 Group 2 championship. They will play Englewood in the state semis. Earlier today, they beat Hillside to win the Mountain Division of the Mountain Valley Conference. How about these two individuals? Dave Durante, a sophomore, won 4 individual events and the Advanced Division All-Around Gymnastics Championship this week. And a junior, Ross Lemoneel, finished 2nd in the All-Around Division. It has been a great fall at Johnson Regional. Here's Alefi.
Alefi on the carry.
And Paul, going back to the spring, the girls in softball played in the state championship down in Toms River.
And the girls soccer team enjoyed another very good season this fall also. So it's been a fall to remember so far for A.L. Johnson.
Nice play by Roselle Park defense right here. Snuffing out the rub by Johnson Regional.
Steve Karlik with the tackle, number 66. Steve, the inside linebacker. Last year, 14-14 game down to the final seconds. Touchdown pass with 14 seconds to go. Won it for Johnson with the win. Johnson qualified for the States, and the loss kept Roselle Park home. Flag on the play. I think there was an early start by one of the Crusader linemen. Under 6 minutes now, motion penalty. It'll be 4th and 8. So I would expect Roselle Park to decline this one. Get the ball back.
The whistle might have came before the snap though, Paul. Is it 3rd and 8 or 4th?
It'll be 4th.
4th down. It's safe for Roselle Park to send the deep back. Johnson Regional has had their quick kicks at least on 3 different occasions today. But this is a definite punting situation.
And they, remember, faked one earlier. Again, it is Menzel, the up back, the short back. Hassler back in punt formation. Goes up to haul down the snap. Kicks it to the left side. hits at the 30, dies in the mud, and that's where Roselle Park will start from with 5 minutes, 24 seconds left in the football game.
It was a good play by Hassler to come up with the snap. It was a little high, made a nice play, and got the kickoff.
First and 10 for the Panthers on this homecoming weekend. Under 5 minutes to go. So Johnson, of course, automatically qualifies at 8-0 for the playoffs. They'll be in the top 4 in power points anyway. So there will be no expansion of the field as there was last year when Caldwell finished 8-0, but was only 5th best in power points. That allowed the field to expand. Johnson came in as the number 16. Eventually, Summit won the Section 2 Group 2 championship for the second straight year. For the second year, they beat Mendham. Harris looking to throw. Airs it out, incomplete. That was a game that we did on TV3. Big win for Summit up at Mendham. Summit will make it into the field again. Mendham more than likely will not. They needed a number of things to happen today for them to qualify. One of them would have been a loss by Johnson, so we already know that did not happen. And we know that Mendham could not catch Caldwell or Summit. So they would have needed a loss by Dover and West Essex for the Minutemen to have qualified. Third and 9. Galicchio in motion. Pitch to Jamie Galicchio. Gets outside, breaks one tackle.
You know, Navarro missed a tackle there, but he was able to slow him up enough for the, and that's a good play by him to penetrate the backfield there, and the Johnson Regional Crusaders, the rest of the defense was able to come up and make the play.
Yeah, Galicchio runs a little bit like the young man we saw last week from Carteret, Corey Jones. Tough to bring down, usually breaks that first tackle. Watch it here.
Navarro gets in the backfield, and he forces Galicchio to run a little wider, and then the rest of the Crusaders come up for the stop.
Under 4 minutes. As always, I'd like to thank the two coaches, John Wagner and Bob Taylor, for their expert help in our preparation for the game. Two of the most prepared, most cooperative coaches that I get to deal with on a regular basis. And they always give us a good game. Harms chases it down and again gets away a good kick. We've got a flag thrown into the pile. Harms catches a wet ball on a very slippery field, has to run with the ball, and still gets off a beautiful punt. That's the kind of job he has done today.
And he's all his punts, like he had mentioned earlier in the game. He kicked one, what,
67, I think it was, his earlier
yards.
kick. Personal foul clipping against Johnson.
And he's had good air time
Oh,
on
yeah,
all
definitely.
his punts.
But the difficulty of running on a soft field with a wet football and then trying to kick it on the run, and he's done it well. That's just a great credit to Bob Harms.
And for Johnson Regional, Greg Layden, who's back there, he has excellent set of hands. He's very sure-handed.
We talked about that earlier, what a talented receiver he is. This is going to be a tough Johnson team to defend, whether it is Summit or Caldwell. That will have to do that. We've got a timeout from Roselle Park. Whoever has to meet Johnson in the playoffs is not going to have an easy time preparing for them. Johnson does a lot of things well. They are not one or two dimensional. They can hurt you in a number of different ways.
Like we mentioned before, they could throw on 1st and 10. They could throw on 3rd and 1. They could run. Here's a look at the coach. Looks like he played out there today.
Well, the young man in the white T-shirt, that's another Bob Taylor. That's Bob Taylor Jr.
I'm sure Coach Taylor didn't get in there and get in on a couple plays. I think we called his number once or twice. Paul, you got to stay out of the left lane.
Bob Taylor, an enthusiastic coach. He has his fellows ready. I'll tell you, the way they play defense,
Trade right.
whoever gets them in the opening round of the playoff has got to be concerned that if you give up 1 or 2 scores to Johnson, you're done for the year.
And what's scary on the same token, Johnson Regional, whoever they play, if they can score early on them, then Johnson Regional hasn't trailed all year.
Exactly.
And hasn't only allowed the 1 touchdown. But what a well-balanced team.
And if they can get 1, maybe 2 first downs here, Roselle Park never touches the ball, and they record, Johnson does, their 7th shutout of the year. A little bit of a trouble with the snap. Bowden covers up on it. We've got a flag.
Bowden on the carry.
And Paul, that's purely the trouble on the snap has to do with that they don't take enough reps in practice. The starter gets a large percentage of the handoffs in practice.
There'll be a reception after the game for the former players from the 62 through 68 teams. Kevin Drake of the Touchdown Club was telling me about that. That'll happen in one of the parking lots after the game. Trying to build a lot, remind the players of the tradition of the past. And there are the current players. There's Big Dan Guzovich, his interception return at the start of the second half more or less put this one away. It was 13-0 at the point. Roselle Park had trouble moving the ball, and when Guzovich made it 19-0, you could just get the feeling that, boy, not too many people are going to score 19 points in a game, maybe not even in the season against Johnson. That was a huge interception return.
And it was a tremendous play by him. Again, he got that hand on it, tapped it to himself, and he went right down the sideline for the touchdown.
And Guz, if you're watching this one in the film room, the way you moved with the ball, I think you should get a few reps in the backfield. I'd talk to Coach Taylor about that one.
Always Paul trying to start a little controversy with the 8-0 squad.
Should demand some playing time in the backfield. Second down, about 14, as we're nearing the 2-minute mark. Couple of subs for the Crusaders here as Bill Prokos gets the carry.
There's your fullback there. Next week, what if we come down here, he'll have number 31.
I was going to say, get him a 30 or a 40 number. There's Tech's son Kim with him.
Now Tech wants the ball.
Kim had a huge game defensively. I'll tell you, he just played a great game at nose guard.
Tremendous game. Guzovich was just telling him, look, I made that interception. You see the way how quick my feet are, and then Tech wants the ball too now. We'll get you the ball.
I'll tell you, he always gets the ball in the offensive backfield. He's been through so quickly. 128, flag on the play for delay of game.
Flag on the play.
Fortunately, it has slowed down and almost stopped raining. More on the way, but
now it's a bird meeting. I think Alfred Hitchcock's here ready to film.
That's true. Quite a few of the birds coming out for those tasty snacks that come up when the ground gets wet. Of course, what that mostly means is that we'll be down on the field to do our post-game show. I don't go down in the rain, but yes, I'll go down. It stopped raining, so we'll wrap it up from down on the field.
The cheerleaders had to put up with it.
3rd and long. That was Hassler. Hassler has been spelling Alefi. Again, we told you about the ankle injury. Certainly didn't show for Alefi today. He hauled in a touchdown pass earlier in the game. Ludek scored on a 3-yard run on the first possession of the ball game. That made it 7-0. Then Ludek threw the touchdown pass to Alefi with 8:31 to go in the half, made it 13-0. Guzovich with the interception in the early third quarter made it 19-0. And then Ludek to Adanasio on a 39-yard completion in the third quarter made it 26-0. That's where we stand right now with 1 minute and 21 seconds to go.
Hassler will punt.
Hassler will punt it away on 4th and 13. Hassler gets away a good kick. Very good kicker, Jason Hassler. And that, of course, really comes into play as we get into the playoffs. You know, if you play a weaker team, you can afford to have a weakness, whether it be in the secondary or your special teams or whatever. But once you get into, obviously, the big games of the year, and especially into the playoffs, you can't have that weakness. Good teams will exploit it. As we said, Johnson appears to not have that big weakness. Final plays. Harris looking to throw. He's hit as he unloads it. Incomplete pass. Ray Radziniak.
Big 260-pound Radziniak came in on the hit.
I bet if you ask Mr. Harris, it seemed like 600 pounds right now. Ray's brother Dan is currently a quarterback at Johns Hopkins. Someday, you'll be going to see him in your HMO. 2nd and 10. Harris across the middle. Completed, but a flag on the play.
Flag on the play.
Got a tough Johnson Regional crowd. They didn't like the call there on the flag. It looks like it's going to be pass interference, and it is. They take pride in their defense and their football program. For Roselle Park, they have Thanksgiving Day to look forward to and a big rivalry. Johnson Regional, like we said, has a big playoff game coming up.
Yep, whether it's Summit, Caldwell, or someone else, depending on upsets, but more than likely it would be either Summit or Caldwell. Interference the call on Johnson.
All TV3 area teams.
Monday night on Time In, when my guest will be Ted Fiore, we will make an announcement as to what 2 games we will be televising next week on TV3. At this point, a number of TV3 area teams have a chance to qualify for the playoffs. Union in Section 2, Group 4. Colonia, by the way, made it into the playoffs with a win last night over South Brunswick. 7-6 win for the Patriots, so congratulations to Patsy Barbado. Harris throwing long, tipped away by Atanasio. Layden was also there.
Good defense down there, downfield for Johnson Regional.
In Section 2, Group 3, Cranford or Rawway will probably qualify. New Providence will qualify in Section 2, Group 1.
Here's a look at that play. Harris threw that ball about 45 yards in the air. Good defensive play in the secondary by Johnson Regional. Layden and Atanasio.
Last week, we saw Carteret win their 8th of the season, which automatically qualified them in Central Jersey Group 2. And finally, in the TV3 area, Immaculate Conception will be in the playoffs in Parochial Group 1 as either the number 1 seed or the number 3 seed. Harris looking to throw, 44 seconds to go. Airs it out to the sidelines, and that one could have gone all the way for Johnson.
Rossetti, Farmer Rossetti almost was able to pick it up. Good play by him getting the hand up. Play a little late in developing.
Len Navarro also had a shot at that one. And in a sense, they got in each other's way, or else that one could have gone a long way for the Crusaders. They've already returned 1 for a score defensively. 3rd and 10.
Bring up 4th and short.
The homecoming fans have a lot to cheer about. They've qualified for the playoffs at a perfect 8-0. 4th down, short yardage.
Roselle Park should have taken a timeout, I believe.
I believe the back judge has signaled the end of play, and that is it. Nope, sorry, we do get a timeout. We get a timeout, Roselle Park. I'm in such a rush to get down on the field for the post-game show.
You're almost like the Baltimore Colts leaving overnight. You packed up in about 12 seconds.
Well, let's see. The Baltimore Colts are now in Indianapolis. The Rams used to be in Los Angeles. The Raiders used to be in Oakland, but they're back in Oakland. The Browns are leaving. I don't know if anybody in the NFL still plays in the city where they started.
Crowd cheering the announcement that Johnson Regional goes to 8-0. And Paul, I got a feeling after today's game, the North Star Ledger will recognize them in the top 20. They haven't broken it yet at 8-0, and I think they should. We will have to see come ranking times next week.
First and 10 for the Panthers. Unofficially 11 seconds left in the ballgame. Harris looking to throw. Airs it out long, trying to get on the scoreboard. Tipped away, incomplete. Layden was there to slap it away.
And they have still one more play left. More than you could imagine, even though it's 26-0, Johnson Regional does not want Roselle Park to get into the end zone.
Ineligible receiver. Penalty on the play will move Roselle Park back.
Roselle Park has had a good season, but not that typical Roselle Park year. For them, 2 or 3 losses isn't what they're used to. They're a good ball club. They'll be able to play Roselle on Turkey Day,
which will be a good battle. Roselle, a good team, and of course, when you get that rivalry, it's always a tough game.
And if they can get the win there, they'll go to 6-3, and that's, a good season.
Could be the final play of the ball game. Harris looking to throw. He'll air it out long down the right side. Slapped away, completed, touchdown. Touchdown, Roselle Park. Kevin Vargas on the receiving end of the tipped ball with unofficially no time left in the ball game.
Wow. Last play of the game.
Kevin Vargas on the receiving end spoils the shutout.
But Paul, I'm going to think that is going to do absolutely nothing to Johnson Regional in preparing for the playoffs. Nothing. That's not like that was just a tip ball. Nice for Roselle Park to get on the scoreboard, but Johnson Regional, that won't have any effect on them, other than them allowing their 12th and possibly 13th point of the year.
Well, we found the Johnson weakness. They just have difficulty in the final 12 seconds of a ball game. (26-6) the final score. There's Vargas. Kevin Vargas with the touchdown reception. Harms will attempt the extra point. Harms is going to have to run or throw this one. He'll air it out for the end zone. Intercepted by Adanazio. And that is the end of the ball game. With the final score, Johnson 26, Roselle Park 6. We'll head down to the field for the post-game show right after this.
When you're looking to buy a new Chevrolet,